Age of Primes is a game about influential figures vying for power and prestige within the city of Macedon, a human colony established on a distant planet called Skellium. As a player, you take on the role of a prime, a hero or leader, to build up your house and create your legend. When you start a game of Age of Primes, you select a prime from your deck to represent you as your persona. Your persona can't be defeated, so it will stay in play for the whole game. Prestige is a measure of how much power or influence your house has accumulated throughout the game. Prestige can be gained from many different sources, but the most consistent method is going to be using your prime's abilities. The first player to reach 25 prestige wins the game. Every prime has several abilities listed on their card. Some prime abilities can be activated for immediate effects. These abilities are indicated by the exhaust symbol. Activating these abilities requires you to exhaust the prime. You can't activate these abilities if the prime is already exhausted. Some prime abilities require the game to have progressed to a minimum threshold of prestige before they can be used. If any player, even an enemy player, has the necessary amount of prestige, then your ability is enabled. As you play the game, you will recruit followers to join your party. Your party is a group of characters, primes and followers, that you have in play on the field. You can only have up to 5 followers at any time in your party, but you can have any number of primes. All followers and primes enter the field exhausted. This prevents them from performing effects that require them to exhaust, such as activating prime abilities or initiating duels. The order of followers in your party is very important. When you recruit a follower, you can add them either to the front or back of the party. Keep in mind that once you recruit a follower, you won't be able to move it to a different place in your party. Make sure you choose where to recruit your followers wisely. Once you have 5 followers, in order to play more, you need to pick one of the followers in your party to replace. When you play your new follower, put it into your party in place of the follower it's replacing. Put the old follower into your trash. Some followers represent unique heroic characters from the Age of Primes story. You can't have more than one heroic follower with the same name in your party at once. If you play a new heroic follower with the same name as one that's already in your party, the new heroic follower will replace the old one. Put the old heroic follower into your trash. The follower at the very front of your party is called your champion. Your champion's job is to fight other champions and protect the rest of your party. On your turn, your champion can start a duel with an enemy champion. Each champion in the duel will deal damage equal to its might to the other champion. If either follower takes damage equal to or greater than its own might, that follower is defeated. Your champion can also duel an enemy prime if there are no followers in that prime's party. Your champion will deal damage to that prime equal to your champion's might, which will cause the enemy player to lose that much prestige. You can only duel once each turn. In addition to primes and followers, you also can play action cards, which represent one-time events and secret agendas to interfere with your opponents and advance your cause. Some cards in Age of Primes have the hidden super type. Hidden cards aren't performed right away when you play them. Instead, you play them face down in a special zone called your hideout. The hidden card will stay face down in your hideout until some condition is met. Once you've met the condition, you can turn the card face up to perform its effects. Turning a hidden card face up is always optional, and you'll often want to wait for the right moment to reveal it. When you play Age of Primes, you are the leader of a whole house, a mighty organization vying for glory, influence and control. Building a deck means choosing which house to represent. There are 3 houses in Episode 1. The criminal underworld of the House of Ren, the bureaucratic leadership of the Macedon Central Council, and the ambitious scientists of Clarity Incorporated. Once you've chosen a house, you may not include any cards from other houses. However, many cards are neutral and can be used in any deck. Your deck must be at least 40 cards, including your persona. There is no maximum deck size. You may include a maximum of 3 copies of any particular card. Your deck must contain at least 1 prime, but you can play more if you want. If you have more than 1 prime in your deck, you'll get to choose which one to play as your persona at the start of the game. Look through your deck to find the prime card that you'd like to use as your persona, and set it face down on the table. Shuffle the rest of your deck and allow your opponent to cut it. Then draw your opening hand of 5 cards. After you decide who is going first, each player reveals their persona. Players take turns as the active player, moving clockwise around the table. Each turn consists of several steps. At the start of each turn, carry out the following steps in order. The active player refreshes all followers and primes in their party. The active player draws a card from the top of their deck, unless it is the very first turn of the game. Finally, any abilities that say, "When you start your turn," will trigger. During the middle of the turn, the active player can do any of the following things in any order. Play a card, if the player hasn't played a card yet this turn. Activate an ability of a follower or a prime, if that follower or prime is refreshed. Initiate a duel, if the player's champion is refreshed, and the player hasn't dueled yet this turn. Once a player decides that they are finished with their turn, perform the following steps in order. Any abilities that say, "When you end your turn" will trigger. The active player discards down to their maximum hand size, if necessary. By default, a player's maximum hand size is 7 cards, all damage is removed from followers in play. Then the turn ends and the next turn begins. The game ends when any player reaches 25 or more prestige. If one player has more prestige than anyone else, that player wins the game. If there is a tie for the highest prestige, the game continues until the tie is broken.